Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of HSN32K Media. In this video, I wanted to talk about my 2005 Acura TSX. And I know I did a video a while back when I first bought the car, but in this video, I wanted to give you guys a more in-depth review and kind of driving experience, and kind of give you guys some feedback of what to expect if you're gonna buy this car or looking into buying one. And I'll try to be as unbiased as possible because I know since it's my own car, you guys might think, hey, Van's probably gonna try to, talk it up and kind of bring it up. But no, I'm trying to not do that. I'm just gonna basically give you guys a brief overview of the experiences that I've had, the pros, the cons, and pretty much um, give you guys an honest opinion. So Acura actually produced this car in 2004, and this is the first generation model. It's a 2004 to 2006, and the engine that they built with this car is a K24A2, and it produces about 200 horsepower. And the car that I have is actually a 6-speed transmission with a 6-speed gearbox. I know that model is kind of very difficult to find. It actually took me a while to find one. I actually had to fly all the way up to San Francisco to buy it and drive it all the way back down to Los Angeles. But I mean, the automatic models, I've heard those are also pretty reliable if you maintain them well and change out the transmission fluid. But I wanted the 6-speed model because I like driving stick, and despite being all that traffic in LA, I still don't mind. So what I'm holding in my hand here is a Acura, or I should say an OEM shifting cable. And this is the only major thing that I had to change on the car. And I started having symptoms about 150,000 miles in when I was shifting. Basically, first gear was fine, but when you engage into second gear, it would actually have a lot of slop. And I'll show you guys that in a bit. When you shift down to second gear, it goes actually all the way down, and it feels a little bit weird because there's usually a little gate that stops it, but then it goes all the way down, like there's no bushing. But second, fourth, and sixth gear and reverse all had that symptom except for first, third, and fifth. And basically, the shifting cables are bad. And this is quite a common issue in the 6-speed TSXs. I think it's common in the 2004 and 2005, and I'm sure a lot of people out there can attest to this. But basically, it's about a $200 part. You can go to like Acura or order it online. But basically, once you get it, you swap it out. You can also change out the shifter bushings as well. You can do that in all one time, so you don't have to worry about like driving with old bushings, and that pretty much fixed the problem. So, give you guys a close-up of what it looks like. Despite being all that traffic in LA, I still don't mind. But yeah, the car has been running great. It's approaching about 170,000 miles. I've driven it, I think, a handful of times from Los Angeles up to San Francisco. And for those of you that don't live in California, that's about a 6.5 hour drive depending on traffic, and the car's been great. I hadn't had any major issues with it. I've done all the maintenance, pretty much most of it myself except for a couple things. I've changed oil. I run AMSOIL 5W30 full synthetic and the filter. I also changed out the transmission fluid to AMSOIL Synchromesh, and I flushed out the coolant, changed out the airbox, the cabin filter, did all the spark plugs, power steering fluid. A thing I noticed that it's given a car that with this high mileage, the engine itself, it's not seeping oil. Usually at that high of a mileage, when you check the valve cover gasket, you can see like seepage around the area. So that's been good so far. I have not done a valve adjustment yet. The car has been idling great. I think it's about between 700 RPM-ish. And yeah, everything's been good. We'll go ahead and take a quick tour around the car. I'll probably drive a little bit in the street, a little bit on the freeway, give you guys a review of what it's like, both being inside the cabin and steering feel, shifting feel, everything like that. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you guys have any questions, just please ask away. And let's go. Let's get to it. Alright guys, we are just taking a little cruise here. I wanted to give you guys like a little in-depth review. You know, like driving the car is very much different from talking about the car. So I'll just jump right into it. If you ever driven a Lexus IS300, a Toyota Camry, I think the Acura TSX is kind of like a blend of those two. It's like Acura's entry-level luxury car. So you can't expect like Lexus, Mercedes quality, but the quality is definitely there. It's very smooth, yet it doesn't feel kind of floaty. You know, when you drive the car, when you take turns, the car handles pretty well, given the sedan size and the weight. And if you get the 6-speed model, I love the way the gearbox works in the TSX. It's really smooth, like almost very buttery. Like you can actually shift with just your wrist or even like one finger to do this. I noticed a pretty big difference when I switched over to AMSOIL Synchromesh. Apparently that transmission fluid fixes a lot of issues with like grinding or pop-outs. Even though I didn't experience any of that from the get-go, I've been running that fluid in all my cars, so it's running in this car as well. I mean, it's a pretty good daily driver. I think the TSX is one of the best daily drivers I've had, and I've had a lot of cars. You know, from a Saab 900S to two Acura Integras, to a Civic. I also had a Toyota Celica at one point. I drove a Mazda MPV, S2000 of course, but that's a different class. You can't really compare that. But I feel like the Acura TSX takes the best of a lot of worlds and puts everything into one package. You know, in terms of like comfortability, being comfortable, driving in long distances. The seats are actually really nice. They're leather, and the car is about, I think, 13-14 years old, and there's no signs of tear or any like cracks or anything like that. Partially because I think I used a lot of Meguiar's leather treatment on it, and it keeps it from kind of fading. And my windows are also tinted, and I park the car in the garage at work, so I think that plays a factor. But yeah, the seats are really comfortable. They're fully adjustable. You can adjust them up and down, back and forth. And keep in mind, it's not manual adjust. You can actually, there's a motor in it. So that's, good and bad, because eventually the motor is going to go out, and I'm not sure how expensive or how difficult it is to fix, but I guess we'll find out. But it's been about 13-14 years, so it's been holding up. Visibility is great. Like the windshield is basically not curved like some cars are, but it's fairly big enough when you see the road. You don't need to like kind of arch your back up to kind of peek or anything like that. I think ride comfort is really good. It's smooth, not like European luxury, but it's definitely good enough for a person that's looking for something to daily drive in, something to get you from point A to point B. If you're driving to work about 40-50 miles a day, you'll definitely have no back issues, no soreness. The car definitely feels planted. With that being said, I think one of the things that I wanted to let you guys know of was that as the car gets a lot older, I think the bushings will start going bad. Like they're going to start deteriorating, and I think that theory is right. I actually jacked the car up underneath to look at it, and I think two of my front upper control arm bushings are kind of cracked, or they're kind of worn. Not to the point where like it's creaking when I'm driving, but it's still drivable up until I think maybe another half a year or so. Then I'll probably get those replaced. So just keep that in mind when you're buying a TSX. I think a lot of TSXs make great daily drivers, so people put a lot of mileage on them. So just kind of make sure that maintenance is kept up. But yeah, I love this car. It's super smooth. Like I haven't had any major issues with it yet. There's slight oxidation on the headlights, but I think that's just natural, given the time that this car has been out on the road. So you just kind of have to like take care of that or just deal with it. I like how the gauges are all lit, like they're white You can adjust them, but I like it because it's kind of like, it gives you that luxury feel, but it's not really overly doing it, and the numbers are fairly big, the dials are really big, so it gives the car like a nice feel. I think the TSXs also did come with in-dash navigation, and I think the 2006 models and up came with Bluetooth. So unfortunately, the model that I have, which is a 2005, did not come with that. So it's not really a big deal because there's a lot of kits out there that you can get that will come with Bluetooth. I think that I actually didn't like about the audio system in this car is that at the time when Acura made the 2004 to 2006, 2004 to 2005 TSX, the first generation, it was really hard to replace the in-dash player on this car because at that time the market didn't have a lot of aftermarket support in terms of audio for this car. And the kit that I actually got, I actually had to do a lot of cutting to get this in-dash to fit. And it's kind of a pain in the butt if you kind of don't know what you're doing or you're kind of inexperienced when it comes to audio. But it took a lot of cutting, and you have to actually take off some panels, and you have to use a lot of force. And for me, like, I kind of don't like to force things, or like I don't like to break things, even though it's, you know, it's inevitable sometimes when you deal with cars. That's the only way to learn is you break something and then you fix it. But anyhow, I wish that, you know, there was more aftermarket support in terms of audio for this car. But if you can work around that, and you know, audio is definitely good. There's a premium sound system in this car. The OEM system comes with a 6-disc changer. That's in the back. You could actually put in 6 discs and it'll load 6 of them, so you can, if you want to go old school, you can just sync everything up and have it play. But you know, nobody uses discs anymore these days. It's all MP3 streaming, iTunes, iCloud, Pandora, there's Spotify. So I mean, but hey, you know, there's people out there that are still old school, so hey, more power to you guys. But let's see, the AC is still fairly cold. You can actually adjust the dual climate in this car. So if you have a bunch of passengers and you know they are cold or they're too hot, they can actually hit the dual button and they can adjust their side of the seat, whether you want to be cold or hot. The seat warmer is actually very good in this car. One of the things I did notice was that the lights on the actual buttons, when you switch it to high or low, they go out, and actually one of my sides doesn't even light up, but the function still works, so the heat still warm up, but that light doesn't light up. It's not a big deal to me. You can buy those off of eBay for like 10-15 bucks, shipped to your house. I don't think you can buy them used now. I they're pretty much all used. It's hard to find any new condition ones. But yeah, I mean, the car it's a 13-14-year-old car, and surprisingly nothing's falling apart. Interior is great, no cracks on the dashboard, seats still work, heat warmers still work, the moonroof all work, side mirrors. The heated mirrors are great. And, you know, sometimes if you live in the winter where the climate's really cold, it's good to turn on the side mirror heaters, and it gets rid of the mist. I also like the fact that I'm sorry, the TSX comes with 2 charging ports, 2 cigarette lighters. So basically you can actually charge your phone on the front, and you also charge your phone in the back. So for passengers who, you know, need to charge your phone, you can actually run 2 cables, or you can get a splitter like a USB and then just run both back. So you actually have up to like 3 people charging their phone at the same time, which is really good, I think, in my opinion, because we're always on the go nowadays, and sometimes your phone needs a lot of juice. So it's a good thing that you can charge it. I mean, I think the TSX is a good value. You know, it holds its value fairly well. You can find a 2004, 2005 first generation TSX with about 110,000 miles for between 7,000 and 8,000 now, depends on where you look. It has a timing chain, which doesn't really need to be replaced, so you don't have to spend a lot of money labor-wise on replacing that, because basically it's supposed to last for the life of the car. You do, however, have to make sure the tensioner is still working, still good, and also make sure that you address like the minor things such as like your brakes, your pads. Make sure that you change your cabin filters out, your engine filter, very minor things, because this car is very reliable. And I think I had the RSX Type S before, and you guys know that from my previous videos. They both run the K-Series engine, both running i-VTEC. This is the K24A2. My RSX was a K20Z1. So, I mean, it's fairly simple, fairly easy to work on. I guess I have to do a valve adjustment on that soon. So, if you guys are looking out for a TSX, basically I would recommend just making sure the maintenance is up to date and making sure that you jack the car up to look underneath for any leaks or any like bushing issues. But other than that, like, the car is just solid. I strongly recommend this car. It's actually my first TSX, but I'm thinking about getting a second one if this one dies on me. Yeah, I mean, overall, I think it's a great car. It's a great car for those of you that are students that need something to commute in, and if you don't want to break the bank. And for those of you that are looking for like a beater, I kind of really don't like using that term. It sounds like you're kind of degrading the car. I mean, even though it's a secondary car that you kind of don't really care about, you should still care about it a little bit, you know what I mean? But yeah, I don't think it's an old person's car. I don't think it's like a young teenager's car either. It's perfect for anybody, like any person, young or old. The styling is great, you know, it looks very refined. I would go and call it a timeless car, you know, the shape is still good. It's been a while, and I think this car has aged really well. Yeah, but all in all, I think it's a great car. Gas mileage wise, I think I average about 28-29 miles a gallon mixed driving. I have gotten it up to 30 miles a gallon before. This car does have an OBD2 port, and I actually bought an adapter where I can plug it in via Bluetooth, and it shoots all the information out to your car. It shoots out the air-fuel ratio, it shoots out gas mileage, it shoots out your air-fuel temperature, your coolant temperature, your engine temperature. You can monitor pretty much a lot of things with that. And sometimes I like to do that when I'm driving on like long distances, long road trips. I monitor for about 5-10 minutes, make sure everything is going well. The most important thing is that I think it supports the AFR, air-fuel ratio. And this car runs fairly well. At 170,000 miles, roughly, I'm running about 14.1-ish, and that's very good for this car in general. So yeah, I mean, if you guys ever have any like engine lights come on, you could definitely use that adapter to pull up codes for your car. I haven't had any codes in this car at all since I bought in the car back in, I think, last year in San Francisco. And yeah, I mean, I like this car. I love this car a lot. Actually, you can also get an aftermarket headlight kit, which I actually looked into. I think that helps with drivability, and it adds a little more styling to the car. You can get them on eBay for about $40, and installation was fairly simple. You just wire everything up and run your fog light wires through the firewall, and everything hooks up. Literally, like, you know, unfortunately I couldn't do a video at that time because I don't think I had the right equipment, and sometimes it's hard doing it while you're driving. I mean, I'm sorry, while you're working on your car and filming. You only have two hands, so it's hard to do a lot of things. But yeah, I mean, in conclusion, I think this is a great car. A lot of people have said that the 2004 and 5 TSXs have air conditioning condenser issues, but honestly, I've never had that. I've never experienced that. I haven't recharged my Freon yet either. So yeah, the car's been great. And another thing that I think was mentioned on the Acura Design, which is a forum for Acura cars, is that a lot of people ran into issues with the I guess a starter going bad, and also the cable shifter bushings, which I had mentioned earlier. And I haven't had any starter issues, but I have experienced the cable shifter, the shifter cable going bad, and that's fairly common. Mine actually lasted up to 150,000 miles, the OEM one, but it's fairly straightforward to do. I also took that time to switch out all my bushings as well, the cable shifter bushings. You can actually get that off of K-Series parts. Try to post a link on it. But yeah, if you guys have any questions to this to ask me, let me know. I love to kind of give you guys more feedback once I've owned the car, you know, for a certain period of time, I can give you guys more solid advice on how good I think the car is in my opinion. And it's a great car. I mean, since I've bought this car, I've just purchased brakes, rotors, pads, new tires, new spark plugs, fluids, and cable shifter bushings, and that's about it. I mean, honestly, I've been driving this car a lot. Like, I put a lot of miles on this car, and I would not hesitate to buy this car again. So if you guys have any questions, please ask away. Like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. More stuff to come soon. I hope you guys have a good day. It's Thanksgiving here in the United States. So if you guys are out there having a big feast with your families and your friends, hey, have a good time, enjoy it. It's only once a year, so you know, we must be grateful to all the turkeys out there that are dying or have sacrificed for us. So, you know, let's take a minute to pray for those guys. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be safe out there, drive safe, and happy Thanksgiving again. Happy holidays. I will definitely